All right. All right. Welcome, guys. Thanks for listening to our show. Be sure to like us on Facebook and all of that stuff, all the social media stuff. Brandon's not able to make it today. He's on a due diligence assignment, but we still have a really exciting episode for you guys. So let's jump right into it. So today we have Michael Reynolds, and I will just give his bio real quick, and we'll dive deeper into everything. So, with a long history of owning and growing successful businesses, Michael is passionate about personal finance, entrepreneurship, and financial education. He's founded and co-founded a number of successful businesses, including a thriving online membership community, a software company, and a virtual staffing firm in the marketing services space. After 23 years as the owner of SpinWeb, digital marketing agency, Michael sold that in order to focus on what he loves, which is helping people improve their financial health and advising entrepreneurs. He's a Ramsey certified financial coach, and he's also a professional speaker and business consultant. He's spoken to many large groups and small groups on marketing and business topics. And he believes that it's fundamentally important to learn to take control of your money, because money touches every part of our lives and is the foundation that supports and empowers our life decisions, both large and small. So I'll let you, Michael, I'll let you talk about how you love sushi and Star Trek, because that's I love sushi, but I'm not much of a Star Trek guy. So
You also a sushi fan? Great. Well,
I am. I love sushi.
well, you're my people then. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
So thanks,
So
Will.
let's dive.
It's
Yeah,
great to be
we'll
here.
dive into this. Would love to hear a little bit deeper about your background and what got you to where you are today.
Yeah, yeah. So you've never watched Star Trek?
I was a Star Wars
You're a Star Wars guy, aren't you?
kid growing up, but yeah,
Yeah.
kind of, yeah, I don't know.
Well, I
Not,
like Star Wars as much as the next guy. My nerd is totally coming out on full display here because I'm talking about Star Trek. But yeah,
I love
usually
it.
there's a camp. You're in the Star Wars or the Star Trek camp, and I'm firmly in the Star Trek camp. But we can talk about that on a different show if you want. But
Yeah,
I
exactly.
like Star Wars too. I also grew up on Star Wars, like many '80s kids. So yeah. So thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it. You did
Absolutely.
a great intro. But yeah, my current my primary business is Elevation Financial, which is kind of taking the experience from all the mistakes I've made and all the entrepreneurial kind of journeys I've taken to help my clients with financial challenges as well as entrepreneurial challenges. That's what I'm doing now.
Okay, awesome. So what? Let's rewind the clock a little bit, because I talked about how you had a company for 23 years. So
Mhm.
was that the first company that you started?
It is. I started the company with a friend of mine in college when I was at Ball State. I think I was a junior
Okay.
in college, and it was about the time when the web was starting to become a thing. The Mosaic web browser was the default web browser at the time, which tells you how far back that was.
Uh, uh,
Have you even heard of Mosaic?
I believe so. So I'm gonna make you date yourself, because I know we have a lot of younger listeners. What
Yeah,
time frame was that?
1996.
96.
Yeah, so the Mosaic was the precursor to Netscape, if that tells you anything.
Okay.
So that was when the web was starting to become a real thing. And so my friend and I taught ourselves HTML, taught ourselves how to build websites. We put up flyers around campus, of all things, which is a really funny
That's
way to market
awesome.
a web company. And our first client was a college professor who wanted us to put his class online. So we made like $1,000 from our first project, which to us, we were rolling in dough at that point. And so we reinvested and kind of built the business up from there. So we kind of built it from scratch out of a dorm room.
Okay. So
Yeah.
once you got your $1,000 from that guy, where'd you kind of go? Where'd you kind of go from there?
Yeah.
And
So
after college, once you were finished.
yeah, yeah. So after a couple of years, we were obviously at the right time to do this because, there was no such thing as a web design company until then. And so we were one of the first in the world, basically. And so yeah, we just kind of kept, we did a lot of networking locally at first, built websites for, college professors, for small business, reinvested the money, got an office finally, hired some people.
Okay.
My partner eventually left to go kind of get a real job, is what the way he phrased it, because he didn't like the entrepreneurial life. He preferred the corporate life, and he's very happy now. So we parted ways
You didn't
as
like the
friends.
ebbs,
But
ebbs and flows.
yeah, some people just aren't built for the ups and downs and the roller coaster ride. And he's much happier now. So that was a great thing for him. But so I've been solo running the business, or I had been solo for about 10, 15 years of it, and just kind of kept growing it, got bigger and bigger clients, went through lots of ups and downs, obviously, but yeah, so ended up building a team of around 10 people, give or take, at any given time. We kind of, grew and shrunk a little bit depending on, the season in our business. But yeah, so just kind of grew it from there, and then sold it last year when I discovered I was kind of burnt out on being a marketing agency owner.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So you got started before the whole dot-com bust.
Yes.
So and you also even before that. So in college, I remember myself in college. I didn't have two nickels to rub together. So
Right.
so how did you get the funding to get going, or how did what did you do to get going? Because I'm sure there were some expenses that were incurred. So
Mhm.
tell us about that.
Well, the nice thing about what we did is we were in a business like many information-based businesses where you don't need a lot of startup capital.
Okay.
I mean, we hired an attorney to, form our S corp, which at the time there was no such thing as Rocket Lawyer or online services. We had to pay an attorney for that, and so that was a little bit of money. But really, all we needed was an email account, which we got through our hosting company at the time. So we got a hosting plan for our website and our email accounts, and really everything else was just labor. So we didn't need a whole lot of money to invest initially, that's still my bias to this day. Is I'm not a huge fan of taking on lots of debt, lots of investors. I really love the bootstrap model, and so we bootstrapped it from the start.
Okay.
We took, I think, two loans over the course of the business, and that was back in the day. We in recent years we didn't do that, but in general it was bootstrapped from the start.
Okay, so it was more of a sweat equity. That was kind of
Yeah,
that was what you were putting into it,
yeah,
as opposed to, going out and getting venture capital or something like that.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, so leading up until the dot-com bust, what happened then? What happened leading up to that, and then how'd you guys do through that?
We got hurt. We
Yeah.
yeah, that there was definitely a slow time. We had to lay some people off.
Okay.
And we weren't making much money, so that was definitely I mean, the combination of it being such an early stage in our business, we were only like 4 years old as a business, and so all the volatility that comes with that was in place, as well as the dot-com bust, and so it was just a recipe for disaster. So we definitely got some bruises through that.
Yeah.
Um, we learned a lot about how to build up enough cash to weather rainy days like that. How to make sure we don't bite off more than we can chew in terms of investing in our office furniture and investing in software and fancy stuff that we just want.
Yeah.
So yeah, we learned, it was a good crash course in how to be responsible with our money.
Literal crash course.
Yeah, literal.
That's
Absolutely.
yeah, no, that's funny. So the value from that was just that you got a bunch of lessons and kind of got
Yeah,
punched in the mouth, as they
yeah,
say, and then
yeah.
just learned and moved forward. Okay. So
And
so
I think that's an important, yeah, sorry, I just want to say, I think it's an
no,
important
no.
lesson that a lot of people that have been starting businesses recently in recent years, they're enjoying a very vibrant economy. I mean,
Yes.
for many years, we've had a great economy, and, obviously people have challenges, but in general, we haven't had a big crash for a long time. And so I think a lot of people are sometimes lulled into a sense of security and haven't experienced those bruises. And I think it's really
Yeah.
valuable for those of us who have experienced those bruises to say, okay, I now know what to look out for and how to be more cautious and how to build a business that has the strength to withstand, or at least be more
Right.
resilient when those things happen.
You're exactly right. Myself, I'm obviously younger, and I have not been through. I was in high school at the last crash, so I haven't ridden through a correction or a crash like that. But I think you're exactly right. And I'm trying to listen to people a lot smarter than me and not do what some people have done, where they've lost their shorts. Because I see a lot of people are spending money and living beyond their means, and I think that they're. I'm sure you've heard of the term bull market genius. They've only
Hmm.
been on the up and up, and like you said, they've never been through those dips, and I think a lot of people are going to be in for a rude awakening.
We'll see.
But
Hopefully
yeah,
not,
yeah,
but
hopefully
it's
not.
good to be
But
ready for
yeah,
anything. Yeah.
exactly. So okay, so moving forward. So tell us about after that and just what led to you wanting to sell your company, and then what got you into what you're doing now.
Yeah. Yeah. So owning a marketing agency for over 2 decades is very taxing, I found. Some people can do it, but I've talked to more and more people, and I have a network of marketing agency owners that I've you know talked to for a long time as friends, and a lot of people are feeling the same thing, that it's a very taxing business. The ups and downs are very emotionally.
Explain to
Yeah, go
me,
ahead.
like, because I'm not in the marketing world. Why is it taxing? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, well, it's very rewarding as well. I mean, it's got a lot of there's a lot of energy around the industry. It's a lot of fun. It's very creative, but there's also a lot of challenges. And one of the challenges is it's very difficult to maintain stability from an income standpoint. You've got the first thing that people cut in their businesses when times are tough is usually marketing, and so marketing always ends up on the chopping block from a financial standpoint from clients. As you move upstream to bigger and bigger clients, they get more demanding. And so you end up having to go through layers of approvals, layers of committees, all sorts of different personalities to kind of wrestle with. And it's a very challenging environment to be in because you are kind of pouring your soul into this creative product you're delivering. And often the clients you're working with have people in the organizations that don't understand exactly the value you bring, and you're always getting beat up on price. And it's just a whole, I sound like a big whiner, but I'm not but
No,
it's just there are a lot of challenges with the industry. So
it
it's a
makes
great industry. It's awesome. It's a lot of fun, but also the ups and downs can be very, very taxing. And so I just kind of got burnt out on that and realized that I was ready for something different. And I I really kind of got the itch to develop more of a service around personal finance and small business entrepreneurs that are kind of growing a company from the ground up. And that's really where my passion ended up lying. And so the experience of selling a business was awesome. I never thought I could sell an agency or any business at all. And it was really eye opening. And now a lot of times I encourage people to say, hey, here is how you actually set up your business to make it worth selling. Here is how you set things up to make it sellable. And here are the steps you go through to make it a successful transaction and build worth in your business to make it an asset you can sell. And so that's been really exciting to experience that.
I know we can do a whole podcast on that in and of itself, getting a business and asset ready to sell. But what are some of those things that you did to prep it for
Mhm.
a buyer?
Yeah, yeah. So it depends on the business, obviously. A software
Sure.
company, you can get 30 to 40 times your multiples of net profit, and software companies are kind of the typical
Wow.
business you think of for selling. But when a service business is up for sale, it's a lot different. So a service business like ours, whether it's web design or marketing or consulting or whatever your service is, usually it's about a two to four multiple of your net profit is kind of the value. And so some of the things that, if you're in a service industry, the things that really help your business have value and make it attractive, one is brand. Having a great brand and a great customer base obviously is helpful. If someone wants to buy your company from a strategic level, it might be because they want your customers and they want the reputation and brand that goes with it. So that's one thing you can do, is make sure you build a strong brand and really, really loyal clients. The financial health is an obvious one, but really clean books and recurring stable revenue. Recurring revenue is kind of the key to getting value in your business, whether it's contracts, whether it's software, whether it's retainers, whatever it might be,
Yeah.
subscriptions. The more recurring revenue you can have, the more stability the business has, and therefore the more sellable it can be. And then the team. What really helped my business kind of achieve that sale, I think, for me, was mostly the team. And many people overlook that because they think of, it's the bottom line, it's the finances, it's the customers, and they really focus on that, and they don't focus on culture. And culture is kind of the DNA that makes everything else work. And so I see so many companies where they have a lot of customers, they have strong finances, but their team turns over all the time because they can't keep people happy. And
Yeah.
if that happens, then you have instability in the company. and instability is a negative when it comes to someone looking to buy your company. And so a stable, talented, senior level team that is happy is one of those missing components people kind of overlook when it comes to building value in their company.
Yeah, that's really good. The whole instability, the turnover, and all of that gets really, really expensive. So
Yeah.
no, I can absolutely see that. So once you sold it, then you're essentially retired, right?
Oh yeah, I'm living on a
Yeah,
beach and
yeah. Read the paper every day, right?
passive income, right? Yeah, that
Exactly.
would be a nice dream, wouldn't
Yeah. So are you just wired to never be able to sit still? And is
it?
that kind of how you? Yeah.
Well, I really have developed this kind of I guess my personal perspective on retirement is that retirement is kind of a myth for people like us that are
Yeah.
entrepreneurs. Most of my clients I work with kind of have the same view where, when, our parents and grandparents' view of retirement is, clock out at age 65, collect your pension or your 401k income, and, play with the grandkids and travel a little bit in an RV and, take it
Yep.
easy. That's retirement. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's a great life for many people. And that sounds kind of awesome sometimes.
Right. Right.
But I think this new generation of people my age and younger are seeing retirement as something much different. And it's, for some people it may be the clocking out at 65, but for some people it may be, okay, I'm going to build a business or multiple businesses that I can kind of phase out of gradually, but maybe work into my 70s and 80s even as a consultant, and kind of keeping my pulse on the business while I maybe leave it to my future generations to kind of take over the business. Or they're building streams of income that
Right.
take lower levels of input and effort to maintain, and they're still working, but they don't have to work quite as hard and they can do other things. And so they're mixing entrepreneurial efforts with the leisure in a much more integrated way. So it's not like a clean line of, hey, clock out at 65. It's more of a, let's evolve into a situation where I'm financially independent so that I can still serve people and contribute to my community and have fun, but it's not this either or situation.
Right. Now that's so good. I'm sure, I don't know if you've read the 4 Hour Work Week.
Oh yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah, Tim Ferriss, he's awesome, and he in the book talks about, you just hit it nail on the head. But the whole 401k IRA, the whole pension route that people go, that's kind of been ingrained in a lot of people's head, which is just dump all your money, save, 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 save. And then one day, hopefully, cross your fingers and toes, you'll be able to retire. And he
Yeah.
says that by doing that, you're operating under the assumption that you don't like what you're doing, or else
Right.
why would you want to leave it? Why would why are you planning to exit it? And what you said, that whole time freedom and people setting up, we're in the information age. People can work wherever. Now they can work on the beach. They can work at
Hmm.
home. They can work wherever. And
All of my companies are virtual.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. So you're living proof of that, which is pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And
okay.
so,
Yeah.
yeah, I I really, you hit the nail on the head when you said people, why would you want to, the premise is you don't like what you're doing. And I
Right.
think you're right. I think for so many generations, we've seen people that their purpose in working is to get the paycheck and everything else is distant secondary.
Right.
Now I think where people are standing up and saying, you know what, if I hate my job, it's okay to change. If I hate my career, it's okay to change. If I hate being an employee, it's okay to start a business. If I hate my business, it's okay to sell it and do something
Right.
different.
Right.
Like it's okay to do all these things because there's nothing more soul sucking than working in a job for 30 years that you hate just to get a paycheck.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And yeah, a lot of younger guys are starting to do that. We're
Yeah, I
seeing.
love it.
Yep, yep,
I love it.
exactly. Well, let's jump into. Well, I want to finish up talking about exactly what your focus is right now, and who you're looking to help. I know that you talked about helping entrepreneurs and small businesses. What are the typical size of the small businesses that you work with? Just give us kind of that box that is
Hmm.
your ideal client.
Yeah, yeah. So I call them micro business entrepreneurs.
Okay.
So my financial advisory firm is Elevation Financial, and I'll work with anybody that's referred to me that wants to work with me. But my target market is micro business entrepreneurs. So solo business owners, maybe they have a couple employees, contractors, maybe less than 10 people is kind of the sweet spot. So anywhere from
Okay.
someone starting up a side hustle, trying to get off the ground, to someone who is building a small team and trying to grow that business a little bit more. That's kind of my sweet spot.
Got it. Okay. Very, very
And I
cool.
love service business also. I have a lot of marketing agency owners, software developers, real estate agents.
Okay.
So I love the service-based micro business. That's kind of
Yeah.
my
So
passion.
obviously, we're real estate junkies ourselves. So when you're working with real estate agents, you'll work with teams, I assume. So you'll work with some teams
Usually
and
individuals. Yeah,
individuals. Okay.
usually, I've got some real estate agents who are very successful as solo, maybe not have an assistant, but they have basically a solo practice doing very well. A lot of great retirement vehicles exist for them that they weren't aware of. So we can help them set up, kind of big company benefits for, a smaller team or a one-person team. So,
Right.
yeah.
Who's not with a company. Yeah. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. Well, why don't we dive into the moments of truth?
Sure. Love it.
Okay. First, let's dive right into it. So who is your success role model? Your biggest
That's a
success?
tough one. So many people, but I kind of interpreted the question as kind of who's a big thought leader I like or something right now. And so usually right now it's Gary Vee. It changes kind of based on the seasons
Okay.
of my life, but I really am into Gary Vee right now. And he's not everyone's cup of tea, but I love his attitude towards success and happiness.
Yeah.
So I just kind of love the attitude he has toward life and business, and it's really kind of inspiring. So I'm kind of a Gary Vee fan right now.
Okay. Very cool. He's kind of got
Yeah.
that Grant Cardone brash approach, right?
Yeah, he's definitely in your face, but I kind of like
Okay.
it.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay. So what's your biggest success thus far?
So I picked two, one personal and one business.
Okay.
Personal is kind of hokey and may seem kind of silly, but it's marriage and children. I was a loner for
Love it.
so long. I'm one of those people that's very independent. I never thought I would get married, have a family. But overcoming my fear of commitment and kind of,
Yeah.
embracing, finding the right person, getting married, having kids, that has been the most amazing personal success of my life. So that's been great for me.
How
And
old
then
are how old are your kids?
I have one son. He's a 4-year-old.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I'm
So,
sure you got your hands full. That's
oh yeah, it's incredible. He's an
awesome.
entrepreneur as well. He's done
I
2
love it.
lemonade stands, and he's made like $15 so far with his lemonade stand. So
Wow,
I think
that's
he's
huge. Well,
exploring
I will
entrepreneurship.
say I got started as an entrepreneur at age 7, so he's 3 years ahead of where I was, which is really, really impressive.
Nice.
That's awesome.
And then on the business side of success, I would say building the best team in the agency space, creating a culture that helped them thrive, and then helping them advance their careers through the sale of the business. So that to me is my biggest business success is, like I said, building that team, creating the environment that helped them thrive, and then helping them advance to the next level in their career. That was incredibly rewarding for me.
That's very cool. Awesome. So, okay, what now? We're going to get a little negative here. What's your biggest failure?
That's an easy one. That was choosing the wrong niche when I owned my marketing agency. So,
Okay.
like many people, I think that are in the marketing space, we've all been kind of beat over the head with niche, specialize, pick your niche, focus on a niche. And so I tried it. And in the marketing, in SpinWeb, which was my marketing agency, we were picking a niche, and I picked banks and credit unions as our niche. And it turns out we were just terrible at it, and we didn't like it, and it just didn't work. And there were so many reasons why it didn't work for us. It was just a huge failure.
Why did you pick them why did you think that would be successful in the first place?
Well, I had a
curious.
passion for finance,
Okay.
and this is going to sound a little bit, I'm going to try not to, slam people and beat you negative here, but I know you like real talk on this podcast. So
Yeah, exactly. No, please.
so I love financial education, and I saw an opportunity to work as a marketing agency with banks and credit unions to kind of reshape how they approach the market. And instead of approaching the market as, hey, buy all our products and get in debt, I wanted them to approach the market as, hey, let's create an environment of financial literacy to help our clients truly improve their financial lives in a very real way, not just a product-centric way.
Okay.
And it turns out they didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
So,
no, I was going to say they don't care about any of that.
so I mean, there are some great banks out there, but in
Right.
general, they didn't want to do it. So it was just beating our head against the wall. So
Wow. Interesting. Okay.
that's real talk. Sorry.
Got it. No, please. We like that. And I feel the same way about the big institutions and banks. So, okay. What's your favorite quote?
Do or do not. There is no try. That's Yoda.
Yoda. I like it. So
I got you for Star Wars.
your nerd is coming out. I like it.
Yep. See, I like Star Wars too.
Yeah, yeah, awesome. Okay, what are your hobbies? What are your favorite hobbies?
Probably tennis. I play lots of tennis. I was on the tennis team in high school, and I love playing recreationally still. That and eating ridiculous amounts of sushi.
Sushi, I love it.
Yeah.
My the place right by my house just closed. It was a pokey
Yeah, I just tried that
Man,
recently. Yeah, good stuff.
Just closed. So I know it's
and of course playing with my 4-year-old. That's probably where most of my free time is spent.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, best business book that you've read.
So there's too many to pick just one, but I'm going to say I'm going to give you a handful here. The Parallel Entrepreneur by Ryan Buckley. He's the one that kind of turned me on to this phrase of parallel entrepreneur and told me that I am one and gave me permission to be a parallel entrepreneur, which is someone that runs multiple businesses at the same time. So that's a good one. Crush It by Gary Vee. I also like Why Work Sucks and How to Fix It by Callie Ressler and Jody Thompson. It's a culture book. I like Entre Leadership by Dave Ramsey quite a bit. Okay. Getting Things Done by David Allen. It's an oldie but a goodie.
To his podcast. It was actually Tim Ferriss, and he was awesome. It was a very psychological. It was all about
very dry, but I love it.
Yeah, exactly. So
and the 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss is also on my list.
That's a great book. Yeah. Okay. Last question for the moment of truth. If there was one key piece of advice that you could leave our listeners with about achieving success, what would it be?
That's an easy one for me right now. It's I would say to define what success looks like for you and focus on that, and don't let everyone else's highlight reel pressure you into kind of fitting into someone else's definition. Because success is whatever you want it to be. It's so easy to look on social media and look at everyone's highlight reel and say, oh, well, success means, having a private jet and, having a fancy car and, looking like this person or that person. And success for you might be making $100,000 a year at a business you love, working 20 hours a week and having time to play with your kids. Like, to me, that's success. Like, that's okay. And no one knowing your name in the world because you're not a celebrity. Like, that may be success for you. It could be something else. So define success for yourself.
No, that's so good. The whole Facebook and the Instagram, all that, people are at their best on there, and I think a lot of it is deception. People always compare themselves with if you look on Facebook, you're either going to see horrible things, or you're going to be like, oh, why can't I be like that person? Because they're beautiful and they're on the beach, or they're doing
they appear to have so much money.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the tip. They probably don't have that much money.
Exactly.
It's probably all an act.
The Lamborghini they're sitting in front of is probably rented.
Yeah. Or they just found it in a parking lot somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Well, okay. That's awesome. You provided a ton of value today for our listeners. What are some needs for that you have for your business, for Elevation? What are some needs and wants that you have?
Yeah, that's a great question. So frankly, I'd love to get more clients. I'm new in the business. I started the company in January. So I've got a lot of great clients that are coming on board, but I'd love to help more people. So people that kind of fit that niche that want to talk to me. That'd be great.
Awesome. And how can our listeners get in touch with you?
The best way is to go to elevationfinancial.com, and you can book a discovery call online for free. It's the best way to reach out. So
okay. Awesome. Well, that wraps up everything for today. Really appreciate you, Michael, being on here again. You provided a ton of value for all of our listeners.
Awesome. Thank you, Will.
Yeah. Thanks so much. Make sure you guys go check us out. Go check Michael out as well, and we'll see you back tomorrow.